We'll call the regular meeting. Fair Funds Board is call. Everyone is present. So at this time, if you'd rise for a silent prayer in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You all have an agenda before you this evening. I would move for an adoption of the agenda, but first, if I could I ask that C2 be moved to the first item on the new business? Okay, motion by Boston, is there a second by Urban? Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that passes.
Who was the motion and second?
Motion and Urban is the second. And you were also sent the minutes from the November 4th, 2025 regular meeting. Is there any addition or corrections to those minutes? Okay, hearing none, I would look for motion to approve those minutes. Okay, motion by Mosling. Is there a second? Second by Peterson. Any comments? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, and that passes as well. All right, now we'll move into public comments, and I just want to remind, well, I guess we just have one tonight, but please keep in mind that the county board will not be able to respond to your comments or ask you any questions. Your comments are informational only. If further action is required, your comments and concerns will be directed to the appropriate department or committee for response. Okay, with that, we have one tonight, and that's Curtis Brashears.
My name is Curtis Brashears, and I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for hearing me tonight. You obviously didn't hear me the last time I was in here. You've all been served. The paperwork you have is what the civil rights advocates out of Washington, D.C., which is now just Washington, it's not D.C. anymore, it's not occupied by a foreign territory. All right? Everybody's receiving this paperwork, city councils, sheriffs, police departments, and county boards all over the United States right now. If you look up, what was his name, Tanaway Downing, he is on Facebook, and he is a civil rights activist out of DC. I tried to explain to you before you're in violation of the Constitution, and I gave you the color of law statute under Title 18. I'm now here to tell you that I found out that we have a medical examiner. That is not constitutional. A coroner is constitutional, and the reason the coroner is constitutional is because the coroner is the only person who can remove a sitting sheriff from office for medical reasons. This medical examiner, we've already seen, cannot remove our sheriff. All right? The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was a video I got yesterday from a ex-Air Force Master Sergeant. He is a barrister, an international lawyer. He does common law. And he explained to us how that when Trump said that he was going after the cartels, everybody thinks they're going after, well, they are going after fentanyl. It's the 3 ingredients that are put together to create a poison to kill Americans. It's coming out of China and it's being shipped through Venezuela. But when he said we're going to get rid of the cartels, he means we're getting rid of all the cartels. County government, city government, village, all of it's got to go because it's all fraud. You're violating our rights under state statute and city ordinances that violate the Constitution. You have the paperwork in front of you. Do the research. How many of you heard about QAnon? Has anybody heard about QAnon? Well, it's not QAnon. It's Q. And Q is military intelligence. And the anons are people like me that they drop code down to us and we go do the research on all of it. And we bring it all forward. And that's what's coming is they're getting ready to expose all of this. And if you don't change, and if you don't do something about it, there's gonna be tribunals. He just brought 600 judge advocate generals into Washington to start replacing the judges. Because the judges are absolutely corrupt our entire country. We right now got the executive branch trying to tell the judicial branch what to do. Wake up, people. Time is short and you can't afford it. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Did you fill out a sheet or do you want to fill out a sheet? Go ahead and fill one out if you'd like to speak. You have to fill out a sheet. You probably weren't here.
Where are the sheets?
Right there.
You want me to just bring it up afterwards or?
It's great to see you. See you later, Chief.
You just bring it up to me then. Thank you.
They put the date
Okay.
on it. Okay.
That Borgward?
Yes.
Okay. All right, the next one is from Tim Borgward, and Tim, you have 3 minutes.
Hello there, guys. First time I've been to a meeting. My concern is what we got going on with County P and 152. I want you guys to all know there was a survey sent out. They had 28 people that don't want it and 1 person that does. So we got 29 responses back. I want you to know a little bit about what's going into this. County Road Highway P and State Highway 52 and on the county road. The proposal is being advanced at the county level with very little public input. Our special interest groups, the Waushara County ATV UTV Club, is driving this proposal. You can all think that it's not that, but that's what started this proposal. And all the county roads are open. They can use county roads. However, this changed through ATV will no longer be allowed on formerly known as County P if they switch these roads. Despite County Road Commissioner Dean Anderson allowing the proposal to move forward in public meeting and short response with deadline. I did talk to a few people from the state and they said they didn't want anything to do with it. Dean and these guys tell me that, oh, it's all the state. Well, it's not the state. I've talked to people at the state. Local residents burden. Everybody that lives on P and county in 152, every driver's license need to be changed, vehicle titles, registration, mailing addresses must change for post office, banks, insurances, utilities, government services, legal documents, wills, deeds, trust, all need to be amended. Online accounts and subscriptions would all have to have manual updates. Small changes multiplied by 250 households, guys. Thousands of dollars in time wasted. Businesses must reprint checks, invoices, business cards, signage, and advertising. Missed mail, incorrect billing could lead to late fees or service interruptions. Emergency and public safety. 911 GPS and mapping takes months to update. Emergency response could be delayed during this lag time. Deliveries and visitors may be sent to wrong addresses. Community taxpayer impact. This change disrupts generations of local history, property records, and even cemetery documentation. It doesn't stop there. The county-wide costs fall on all of the taxpayers. Every change required tax records, deeds, mapping system, signs, fire numbers, emergency documentation, all need to be paid for by tax dollars. I just want to say again, I want you guys all to know where I stand on this, and I think we should all be aware of it. Again, this started with a local interest group pushing this, and Dean wants to make everybody sound like it's a big cost savings. In the end, this is no big cost savings. What he's looking at is about 25 years, and we got to look for the people. Thank you.
I'll move on. We have no unfinished business. New business, we're gonna start out with C2. And just let me read this first. This resolution number 27-12-25. Acknowledgement of Rosie Kowaleski's service to and retirement from Waushara County. Whereas the county of Waushara wishes to take this opportunity to express its appreciation to Rosie Kowaleski for over 37 years of service to Waushara County. And whereas Rosie has been a dedicated employee who performed her role as an administrative assistant in the UW Extension Office, as well as in the Sheriff's Department and many other offices for Waushara County. And whereas while serving in her role as Extension Office Administrative Assistant, Rosie assisted hundreds of individuals with questions related to the program areas of 4-H, agriculture, community development, and family living. She also helped Extension educator staff address a number of emerging issues over the years, and she worked with many of Extension's loyal clientele, including 2 generations of 4-H members and their families, as well as HCE members from all across the country. And whereas Rosie was instrumental each summer in helping to organize entries for the Waushara County Fair through her work on securing county fair judges, superintendents, and volunteers, as well as county fair award sponsors and more. And whereas Rosie, along with the other Extension Office staff, was heavily involved in supporting the 1990 Wisconsin Farm Progress Days held near Hancock. And whereas Rosie's primary mission was to always provide excellent customer service while dealing with the many questions and challenges that faced her each day of her career. She was truly a talented problem solver for many. And whereas Rosie completed her work with integrity, professionalism, and humor throughout her career. Not many have had as much fun coming to work each day as Rosie has. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Waushara County Board of Supervisors that the county board, on behalf of grateful residents of Waushara County, does hereby acknowledge, commend, and thank Rosie Kowaleski for her countless hours of service to the citizens of Waushara County, and 2, wish good wishes to extend to Rosie Kowaleski for a long and enjoyable retirement filled with contentment and good health. With that, I would look for a motion to approve this. Okay, moved by Waddle, second by Bossard. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, very good. Thank you very much. Spend their entire career with us, and we really appreciate all you did. Thank you. Okay. With that. Okay, okay, with that, then we'll move to the county administrator's monthly report for their administrator, Megan Cat.
Just a few brief updates for you. With strategic planning, as we're nearing the end of the year here, we have, I believe, all of our departments that have made it through the entire strategic planning process. Tim Drew from UW Extension has worked very diligently with all of our departments to get them through evaluating their SWOT data, setting up goals and their plans. As they're getting finalized, as the documents are finalized, those are being posted on the website. Today, Tim Bruce sent out some educational materials to board members to review when you have some time. Just provide some general education to walk you through the entire process, the why behind the strategic plans, and how you as committee and board members can help support the departments in implementing their plans. So please take some time when you have it to review those videos that he sent out earlier today. I have had some recent meetings with our medical examiner. If you recall, this year we started a partnership with Marquette County, whereby we're providing the medical examiner services for Marquette County in kind of a regional model. We are in some very preliminary discussions with Green Lake County at this point as well, looking to see if we might expand that partnership. But again, just very preliminary conversations at this point to see if it will be advantageous for us both. Personnel front, we are continuing to struggle with some vacancies in our dispatch center. We've had some positions filled. We have several that are in training right now, so they are short-staffed there and filling many overtime shifts right now. We're currently evaluating the structure of our dispatch and reviewing that with our recently created 911 board, who will be making some recommendations to the Public Safety Committee. Scott Egan from our Sheriff's Department was recently promoted to the Chief Deputy position. He started his role there yesterday. With his promotion to Chief Deputy, his K-9 Storm was retired. And I just give a shout out to our dispatch and other employees from the Sheriff's Department. They coordinated a final walk-off for Storm on his last shift of duty. So that was very nice for them to honor him for his last shift. At the end of November, we had 5 employees that attended a women's leadership seminar in Green Lake County. We had some engaging sessions on Buffalo leadership, some fraud prevention, cybercrime, and navigating difficult situations. So it was a good professional development seminar there. Last week, I had the opportunity to spend several hours in our jail doing some observation. I spent a couple hours both on day shift and night shift just to get a feel for some of their operations and what they do over there. So that was a good experience there. Last week, we held our annual employee Christmas luncheon. We had about 200 employees attend that here at the Government Center. Thanks to my executive assistant, Michelle Olson, takes care of coordinating that event each year. And Rosie also is a big help in setting up and serving and everything. We had a local caterer from Wild Rose Main Street Station did the meal for that. So that was a great event. This Saturday is our last day of the lights at the fairgrounds, so we have the drive-through lights display there. We did have to cancel last weekend due to the extreme cold temperatures, so hoping for a good turnout this last week here. So that's this Saturday at from 5 to 8 at the fairgrounds. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Is there any questions for Megan?
Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. All right, next move into the Department of Information Technology with Information Technology Director Barry West.
Bear with me here, I'm gonna pull my screen up. So I'm gonna do my presentation from up here because I have some technical things that I have to do as part of this. So we'll get started. The presentation that I have is fairly brief and it's not very detailed due to the security that's in the IT department and things that we do and take care of. We can't really broadcast a lot of that out in open meeting, but any detail that was needed, we could do in a closed session if needed. But I did put some general information together. I have a video that doesn't want to play on PowerPoint, so I'm going to play it for you. So this is what what most people think IT does. I just thought it was a little comical. So. Yeah. Bam, bam, bop, 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 boom. If you ever work with IT at all, of course, you make the phone call and then IT shows up at your desk and then all of a sudden everything starts to work. That's just how it happens, how it works. People think it's magic. It's not really. It's just the way things go, and it is what it is. But what we really do, so we manage all the technology infrastructure for the entire county. We manage the desktops and laptop computers. We manage the phone system, the audio video solutions that's here, all the software and hardware purchases, and the maintenance that goes with that. And then we assist all the end users on a daily basis as needed. The IT department currently consists of myself and Ashton. Every one of you have had the privilege to meet Ashton and work with him as well as myself. For many years, it was just me doing it for a while, and then we added some things and needed to add a person. So that's where we are today. Some of the things that we accomplished last year, well, in the last 2 years, we replaced and upgraded the entire backend network. When we moved into the new building, we replaced all our switches, networking, everything that runs the backend infrastructure, including the wireless and all of those things. We do regular replacement of desktops and laptops. We have a standard equipment rotation, so we replace those based on that rotation every year. And then we improved our cybersecurity posture. We implemented multi-factor authentication, long passwords that people don't like, but is also very secure because the longer the password, the harder it is for somebody to break into that password. We have real-time software, scanning software that takes care of the security side and manages and scans everything that happens and prevents bad things from happening. We're only as secure as our weakest person though, so we try to do training on a regular basis and let everyone know to try not to click on things that they're not sure of and they're not aware of, and just stay away from that kind of stuff. The goals for the future. So this is my one-page goals from my strategic plan. We completed that a month ago or so, and I'll get that out on the website. But this is where we are as far as the goals and plans for the IT department. So we based this data on internal surveys that we did because we serve the internal employees of the county. So we did an internal survey and people put in what they thought were problems, issues, strengths, weaknesses, all of those kind of things. We went through that with Tim Baroud and came up with, we had an IT committee, our committee for strategic planning was myself, Ashton, we had Jenna Holland from Human Services, and then Sarah Lucchini from the Finance Department was part of our strategic planning committee. So this is the goals that we came up with that we're going to work on over the next 2 years. And of course, we'll adjust those as needed as well to keep them where they need to be. And that's pretty much all I've got. Any questions at all?
Anybody have any questions for Barry?
I got a question. I don't know if this is part of your department or not, but with the lighting in the building, is that on a program schedule?
Some of the lights are programmed and some of them are not. All of the lights are automatic turn off, and they turn on via motion, except for the lights in the atrium area. Those are programmed to be on and off at a specific time. So the main atrium lights turn off at 8:30 because it was set up that way for the cleaning purposes, and so that's every day, and then we extend that. We end up having meetings that go longer than that. The one strip of lights that are down by the administration hallway down that way, they dim to 10%, so they're not completely off in case anyone is in the building, need to walk around, because it gets pretty dark in here if there's no lights on at all, and there's no switches for those other than having to switch on the wall. So, but those are programmed. But all of the back end lights, the hallways and the rooms and all of that are motion detected, and they turn off automatically. If the switches are left on, the lights will turn off after a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, very good. Thank you, Barry. All right. Next, we'll have the 2025 summary of opioid settlement fund with Corporation Counsel Ruth Self.
So in your packet, you have a two-sided sheet. It kind of goes over what we've gotten since we started receiving the opioid money in 2022 and how it's been spent. We did start receiving money in 2022 and we did not disperse any funds in 2022 as we were still trying to figure out what we wanted to spend that money on and create a priority list. Since that time, we have started reimbursing people for different things. And as you can see, it's been quite a variety. And I would have to say that Waushara County has done a good job in actually getting this money out to do what it's supposed to be doing. There are a lot of counties who still have not dispersed any of their funds and are trying to figure out what they should do with it. We also have really good partners in our departments in that this money helps to supplement some of their other grant dollars, and so we can get more use out of it that way. For instance, the Department of Human Services receives a room and board grant usually every year from the state that pays for So when you put somebody in inpatient, treatment, Medicaid will pay for the treatment, but it doesn't pay the room and board. And so, they have a grant that will pay for part of that. And then when that money runs out, then they ask us to help supplement that if there is an opioid disorder, in that. But because we have a contract for those things, with the treatment facilities, they charge us the Medicaid rate for room and board. And so we pay, like $55 a day, I think it is, for that. And so, that's how, we can try to like save some of this money. So as you'll see, we did, get a windfall in 2022. In 24, we had, additional money coming in. We've had additional money coming in each of the years. 24, we had a large disbursement, but at that point in time, that was when we had the settlements for some of the pharmaceutical companies. And so much like the distributors in the first year, they paid multiple years of their settlements at the same time. And so all of these settlements had been set up to be paid over a period of time, but each of the entities involved in the settlement has the ability to prepay. And so, some of the larger entities paid like the first 3 years out of their settlement in 1 year. And so that's why there's a difference in the amount of money that's coming in every year. We do still have a couple of them out there that we haven't started receiving money yet and on the bankruptcy settlements that are still going through court. But it does appear that we will continue to get some money, at least for the next, probably about 10 years. So right now, we are sitting at $175,000 in our account. But we have outstanding applications that have been approved that have not been processed yet. And so the unallocated balance is about $129,000. If you'll recall, the board agreed to spend like, I think it was $23,000 for to help with foster care and kids who are in foster care because of drug abuse. As the department uses that money, they submit the receipts and things like that. So right now they've only spent about $1,700 of that money. So that's why there's like a difference between the actual amount in the account and the allocated. We also have, there was approved a room for the sober living house, Amalia's place. The owner of that facility had put in an application for to serve up to 10 people. And she has not had to use that money this year. And so her balance is still out there too, because there have been other programs that have been assisting her. And she's had some longer term residents who now have jobs and are able to pay the rent on their own. So typically when we get a request for sober living, we will pay the first month's rent and potentially the security deposit, but then expect that they will be able to sustain that afterwards on their own. We also have, with the assistance of John and Megan, this year implemented some parameters with the Department of Human Services for people that we're sending to treatment and that we're paying for the treatment because their insurance does not cover it. That could be quite costly, but in order to ensure some buy-in, we have an agreement with them that they have to pay back a percentage of that that's worked out between the department. So we ask them to pay back between 10 and 20%, depending on what their financial circumstances are, over a payment plan after it's done. So we take care of the bill with the hospital and then they reimburse us. So that will also help do that. In addition, after the first of the year, we're going to be putting together a group of people who are all kind of dealing with this same issue between the different departments of public health, the sheriff's department, human services, and then look at making sure we're all going in the same path, but we're not duplicating services so that we're able to better utilize our money to fund more activities. I've had some talks with Pat Eisenberger, who is the AODA supervisor in human services, about maybe as part of the 2027 budget, looking at an average of how much they normally like spend and how much they get for their room and grant, and then maybe just budgeting and coming for a larger amount, like the foster care amount, so that would then be like right in the budget. And then we would know that. So we're just kind of looking at different things right now to figure out how we can also do this. This money is in its own, it's in our regular accounts, but it is in its own separate line item so that it can be tracked. Once a year, I have to fill out a accounting that goes to the trustee of the settlement. And once a year, there's a document that gets filled out and completed and goes to the Department of Justice to show how the money is spent, because Wisconsin is one of the few states where the majority of the money is actually coming back to the counties instead of staying with the state. So the counties got 70% of the settlements and the state gets 30%. But as part of that, we have to report to the state once a year what we're doing with ours. In addition, Sarah has been working with Jesse to calculate what the interest would be on this particular line item. And then that's separated out to supplement the amount so that we have that amount available to continue to support these type of programs. So you'll see we've done anything from sober living to respite care for foster care, inpatient treatment, different trainings for staff in Sheriff's Department, the City of Wautoma Police Department, Department of Human Services. And we also supported some training for one of the peer support people at the Shines, the local recovery nonprofit that is in our county and city that work to support people in need. So it's kind of all over the board. If they don't meet the, I think it's about 13 things on your priority list, then it comes back to you for the county board to decide. And so that's kind of where we're at right now.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Ruth on the settlement fund?
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ruth. Okay, with that, we'll move into the discussion, possible motion action items. First one is the AI use policy for Waushara County. Is there a motion for this?
The motion by Peterson, is there a second? Second by Johnson. Is there any discussion?
Did you and who was involved in all this stuff?
Barry and I worked on it together. I had gone to a training, and so I got some information from a training. Claire from the Department of Human Services had gotten some directives from the State Department of Health Services. So we took all that into account. I would say that just recently, I did get there is a group in Wisconsin called HIPAA Cow. And they are a group of professionals that are anywhere from providers to attorneys to different people who are involved, who review different things and give policy recommendations as it relates to HIPAA specifically. And so we'll be looking at that. There might be some future amendments in the future. But right now, because of the way that we have it worded, that people are not allowed to use an uncontrolled AI program that will not violate HIPAA then, because so to be completely transparent, we did have a HIPAA breach. We had a staff member who used an unsecure AI program to help write case notes so that it would sound more professional. But unfortunately, if you put something in Chat GPT, then they use that and they pull it all together and now everything is like out in the web, right? So it did impact a couple of clients, notifications were made. I did make a report to the federal government oversight committee about that. And so that was part of the reason that we wanted to get this into place, to be sure that people understood that, especially when they're dealing with protected health information, that they're not allowed to use it. And we've actually gone so far in our policy to say that you are not allowed to use it at all without permission and a proper license through Barry. No one is allowed to install anything on county-owned computers without the permission of IT. So we can't just have people downloading free software or using free software. And so that was part of the impetus behind getting this together.
Thanks. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on this.
Supervisor Waddle,
Yes.
Okay, so the AI use policy for Waushara County is adopted. Okay, update to the 2026 fees schedule for Waushara County. Is there a motion to approve those fees?
Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Waddle. Is there a second? Second by Weekly. Any discussion?
Okay, seeing none, go ahead and vote.
Supervisor Waddle,
Yes.
Okay, and that those fee schedules are adopted. All right, and next is broadcasting all board and committee meetings live. Is there somebody want to make a motion for this?
One way or another? Or do you want to have discussion first?
Discussion.
Yeah, let's have some discussion on this then. All right. Who do you want to, Mr. Prosser?
So I just wanna make maybe one clarification on the agenda item, which is stated in a way that says that all broadcasting, all board and committee meetings live. My actual recommendation for discussion and what I would like to see at least discussed or moved forward is that either all committee meetings would either be recorded or broadcast for public record. And I think that that's a fine clarification. I don't think that using YouTube for every committee meeting is it's excessive. It's a lot of infrastructure to work through. But every place that we hold meetings has the ability to hold like the WebEx meetings. And it's my understanding that our WebEx account allows us to have those recorded and then we could post those at a later time. But I really would like to see that all committee meetings have the ability to have all the meetings recorded and be available for not only us as board members, but for the general public as well.
Can you clarify, Mr. Bossart, what you mean about not enough infrastructure? Is that IT issue? What are you referring to?
Well, I'm going to defer to Barry on this, if you would mind chiming in. We've had issues even at planning and zoning in trying to coordinate the WebEx portion and the YouTube portion of it. And I don't think that and I could be wrong, but I don't believe that every conference room that we hold meetings in has the ability necessarily to live stream a YouTube video where we could always have it recorded for later publication.
Yes, so live streaming is a little more complicated because there's setup and configuration that has to be done on the front end in order to make that connection from the WebEx meeting into the YouTube itself. It would, in order to make it work, we would likely need to have an IT, one of us as IT running that versus trying to teach all of the committee secretaries to be able to do that. As far as recording goes, that's as simple as if you're already running the WebEx meeting, technically it's available for anyone to join that wants to join that meeting. So it would be considered live if you want to say it that way. But it also, to record that is just a matter of pressing the record button as you're running the meeting. So it can be done in any of the rooms that we have the AV set up in. So any of the rooms that we do our regular meetings in could run a recorded WebEx meeting. But to do a live stream like that is a little more complex, a little more complicated, and would require more configuration to go in. In addition, we would have to add permissions on the WebEx license in order for those individuals to be able to access that live stream.
Okay,
And the only reason I was asked is I'm a benchmark kind of guy, right? So I did reach out to Waushara County and ask them what they do, and every single meeting they have is live streamed.
And my guess is they have an IT presence at every meeting as well. And we have a staff of 2, so it's, I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done. There's just, it's not as easy as just saying, yeah, let's do it.
I have 2 questions. What do we do about meetings that are held off-site? We do have some of them, like the library.
Yes, that's right.
And then what's the fee that would be involved here, if any?
Fee as far as recording, there wouldn't be any because we already own the WebEx license. We already pay for that. Same with live stream. We have a limited amount of license because we stopped doing as many WebEx meetings as we were, so I cut the license back on that. So we would have, we wouldn't have to add more, we would just have to be staffed to do it. So it would have to be an Ashton or myself. As far as the offsite, it would have to be a determination of how you want to handle those, or if the offsite meetings are considered as something that would need to be recorded or live streamed, then my suggestion would be they would need to be had here in order for us to have the technology to do that. I wouldn't want to try to rely on somebody else's technology to get a meeting that we're not aware of.
Could a laptop be taken off-site to do the recording?
In order to get a good quality recording, you're gonna get it off just a laptop. That's why a lot of these meeting rooms have the infrastructure that they have, because they had microphones in the ceiling and that. Even if we weren't using the desktop microphones, you can still pick up all the recordings. I mean, all the people talking without having to have microphones and stuff. It would be a substantial amount of setup in order to get a offsite kind of thing set up to make it good quality. Yes, their boardroom and their training room have that ability.
okay. Would it be something that, would you,
Consider saying, like, if possible, if there was a case like a library meeting or something where it would be offsite, and I'm thinking too, like now, well, we're part of other committees that are in different places, like the waterways one, and you know that's over in Oshkosh.
Okay,
It's a county committee.
Sure, okay, so just the county committees, so the county library committee, we'd have to either bring here or.
You could possibly look at, in your bylaws, you have regular committees and then you have special committees. Regular committees are the committees that meet every month. that are the most of like, where the county business is being done. The special committees are advisory committees to other things, or like the individual library committee meetings, or the Lake District meetings, or things like that. You could maybe start with the regular committee as listed in the bylaws and see how that goes. And then, and see what type of interest you have in it, how it's getting viewed, and then talk about moving some of the other things. It's just a suggestion for a start.
Are we talking just, when we're talking about WebEx, we're talking video on the WebEx or just audio?
Video,
Video also.
yes.
And so what we're saying is we're not going to broadcast live. How would we get that transparency to the public? Is that something the public's gonna have to ask for, or how do we handle that?
I think the suggestion would be the recording would be posted out on the website as a meeting. And people would have the opportunity to go look at that recording at any time. In addition, we would post the meeting link on the agendas like we do now, and people could join
Similar to the
that
minutes.
meeting if they wanted.
Even though it wouldn't be able to be live, at least the public would have access to it.
Correct.
Well, it would be live.
I mean,
WebEx would be live
Yes.
because you would be able to join. I mean, I've joined remotely to several WebEx meetings that we have. So it would be a live issue, but then also it would be, my thought would, and that's up to the powers that be to figure that out. But, my thought is, why wouldn't we just have the link to that recording right there where we post all of the minutes for every meeting? So we've got the minutes and we've got the link to the meeting audio or video or whatever is available.
Mr. Waddle.
I have a question, how that would work when I'm on zoning, when you go out on site to look at these applications? Would you have to have a camera there when we talk about that? That'd be pretty difficult to.
Do you know what Packet does about that? Maybe that's something we can check on too and see.
If you have to, but that'd be an extra cost to have a audio person, even an audio person or a picture taking person, because we do discuss.
But all of that discussion becomes part of the public record at the public hearing the following night. I mean,
Well,
on
I'm just
Thursday
curious
night,
if-
right? So all of those observations that we would do in a meeting like that are all become part of the
Right.
public record. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna run into issues like that where we're gonna find, but we gotta start somewhere. And I think that that is a great suggestion that all regular committees, as laid out in the bylaws, begin to WebEx all of the meetings live and have them recorded for availability.
And I would exclude the on-site visits for right now, because that's just gonna be more difficult. This isn't something that's required, and I'm not saying it's not a good idea. But taking a cameraman along with you on your on-site visits seems a little excessive for a start, in my opinion. But, this is your rules and how you guys wanna do it. But I would consider excluding those on-site meetings to start as well.
So we have
PAC board, which is in Stevens Point.
That's not a regular committee. That's one of the specials.
Under the bylaws,
and I'm the 10th representative for the county.
that's a special as well.
Also.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it would be helpful if we had some parameters and clarifications on which committees we're going to start with, so that it's clear. So maybe between IT and the clerk and myself, we can look at those and just confirm with you all that these are the ones we're gonna start with having WebEx and making sure that those are recorded and posted afterwards. And it's certainly something, we can review, because we'll have to look. And I know, just looking at the bylaws, I think some of those are not necessarily in the right category, whether they're the regular committees versus the special ones. And so just so that we make sure we're capturing the intent of it. But again, not being an unnecessary burden for offsite visits and things like that as well. If we put a blanket statement in and then we have these nuances. So if we could look at, come up with a list of, these are the 4 committees that we're going to start ensure that we have a WebEx for and we're recording. It is something we used to do pre-COVID before we had a bunch of the virtual options. At the old courthouse, the county board meetings were all recorded and then later posted to the website. So I would expect it to be somewhat of a similar process to that. But that was prior to live streaming or, having any virtual attendance options. That was just recordings for later viewing.
Next month for some more information.
That's what I was gonna say, Mark, postpone this, let them figure out what committees are and stuff like that, and then bring it back next week or next month.
Sure, we're not missing anything on his end.
There wasn't really a motion, I don't think yet. I think we were just discussing, so we can,
I would just wonder if we could make a motion to postpone it.
okay, postpone the issue until next month. Okay, so there's a motion by Kirschner, a second by Peters. There's a second by Peterson. All right, is there any discussion on postponing it? Postpone it until next month.
One more question. Is there any limitation to how many people can attend a WebEx meeting?
We can make limitations, but currently no. Well, I think it's like 300 or 400 or something like that, but.
Okay. Try and have some more information and like Megan said, the list of committees that would be, possible to do that with, and then we can discuss it. So, okay, then we have the motion to postpone this issue until next month. Go ahead and vote on that.
Supervisor Waddle,
Okay, the motion to postpone passes. Thank you. That was very good discussion on that. So next we'll move into consideration possible action on the following resolutions. Resolution number 26-12-25. Resolution ordering the issuance of tax deeds on certain tax foreclosed property. Is there a motion for this?
Motion by Mosley, is there a second? Second by Urban. Any discussion on these?
Okay, seeing none, go ahead and vote on those.
Supervisor Waddle,
Yes.
Okay, and that resolution passes. We already did number 3, resolution number 28-12-25. Resolution authorizing cancellation of outstanding checks. Is there a motion?
Motion by Kirschner, is there a second?
Second by Bossard. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, go ahead and vote on that.
Supervisor Waddle,
Yes.
Okay, and that resolution passes. With that, we'll move into appointments. The first one is the Winnifox Library System Board. That's Jim Miller from Hancock with his term from January 1st, 2026 through December 31st of 2028. Is there a motion? Motion by Waddle, is there a second? Second by Johnson. Is there any discussion?
Okay, seeing none, can I vote on that?
Supervisor Waddle, Supervisor Urban,
Okay, so that appointment passes. Appointment to the Board of Health for Denise Regan from Coloma, term January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2027. Is there a motion for this? Motion by King, second by Urban. Any discussion? Okay, go ahead and vote.
Supervisor Waddle,
Yes.
And that appointment passes as well. All right, with that, we're up to board suggestions for future agenda items. Is there anything someone would like to bring forward to a future meeting?
Okay, seeing none, I would look for a motion to go into closed session, motion to convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Stat Section 19.85 sub 1 sub G for the purpose of preparing the legal counsel for the governmental body
who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. And this is to review and discussion regarding correspondence received from Attorney Redco on behalf of Sheriff Soki. So is there a motion for this? Go into closed session. Motion by Johnson, is there a second? Second by Mosling, and you can do this in here. Okay, so go ahead and vote on that.
Radel,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, so that motion passes and we'll go into closed session.